7 stages of business ownership. There's lots of books out there on different stages of business development and the rest of it. And a little bit of history on this. I was trying to count the years. It's over 20 years ago. I have a friend in Cork called Morton Murphy. And he actually was the brains. He actually came up with this idea of these 9 stages of business development. And he wrote me in to sort of help tweak them, so I got some of the glory as well. And then in 2003, I met a guy called Chuck Blakeman. And in 2011, he published a book called How Making Money is Killing Your Business, which is an interesting title. I actually thought that was the purpose of business. But in the back of the book, he has, use your business to build your ideal lifestyle. That's what I want to talk about. So this is the journey, and apparently this thing works sometimes. Okay, so where are you on this journey? And this 7 stages of business ownership, not business development. This is about you, the owner, the emotion, the income, the lifestyle, because the purpose of a business, any business, is to acquire and keep customers profitably. The purpose of a business from an owner's point of view is to give you the time and the money to have the freedom to choose what to do with your time and your money. And for most of us, we get into business with 2 intentions and 1 hope. We intend to work hard, we intend to make some money, and we hope we get a nice life. And for the majority of us, we work hard, we make some money, sometimes not enough, but it never really seems to come all together and work for us. So let me take you on the journey, and we'll see where we go with this, I hope. So the startup, this is the interesting bit. You think about it, think back to before you even started, concept and startup. And you had this idea of starting a business, and we all get into business for different reasons. Sometimes it's because the person we work for, we don't think very much of. We're doing all the work, they got all the money. Or you've had this brainwave, and I'm going to take over the world with it, and away you go. So whatever it is, the startup, and that startup stage is really exciting. It's fun. You can remember back putting the spreadsheets together, you know, and revenue and sort of where's the revenue coming from, who's your target market, who do you know, who can introduce you to somebody, all that stuff. And you do all the spreadsheet and the costs, and then the bottom line doesn't look that great. So what you do is, sure, well, add 10% onto the top, sure. I can work 10% harder, I could get 10% luckier, you never know. And of course the number looks a whole lot better. So away you go. In the olden days, and I'm a wee bit older than some of you, it really became real whenever you put the sign above your shop and you went and got a business card printed. Now you're in survival mode. You are starting to burn fuel. Today it's you build a website, you do some social media, you get a digital agency, and so it's same but different, okay? So the next step is survival. Survival is an interesting place. It's whenever you get going and you realise the people who said they were going to do stuff for you, the people who promised they'll introduce you to somebody, just doesn't seem to happen. The people who you ring don't ring you back. The people you send emails to don't respond to you. And you're starting to get this sort of quiet desperation. Meantime, the clock's ticking, you're burning fuel. It's a bit like a plane taking off. It burns a lot of fuel in takeoff. Same with the business. And we start to think, geez, I never thought it was going to be so tough. And all those people who were sort of cheering you on and maybe even giving you some money are starting to wonder, am I going to get my money back? What's the plan here? This survival mode. And then you start to think, but I'd be better off just going back and getting the job. This is a whole lot tougher than I thought. I'm not really cut out for this. But you persevere, and funny enough, somebody rings back, it gets going, bingo, and you start to move forward. An interesting thing about the second stage of survival is that the most creative part of it. Because for some of us, we won't get out of our comfort zone because we're not hurting enough. And you've heard people's stories tonight. Sometimes you need to bottom out before you can get on and get going. Okay. So never waste one of those moments, those survival moments. It is the most creative. It'll force you out of your comfort zone and get you to do stuff that you maybe wouldn't have done back in startup. So now you're in the third stage, subsistence. You're breaking even. Wow, you stopped bleeding. It's a miracle. You've got some customers. But in stage 1 and stage 2, your focus was all sales. You needed sales. You've got to get some revenue. Stage 3, your focus now goes to production. Okay? Because you've got to deliver on what you sold in stage 1 and 2. Whatever your product or service is, you've got to deliver on this. Okay? And just about paying the bills, it's okay. And the euphoria that you had in stage 1, which you lost in stage 2, you sort of get back in stage 3. And this little thought of, geez, this actually might be a viable business. This could actually work. And you persevere and you keep going and you get to stage 4. Stage 4 is stability. You're actually making money. Brilliant. But this is the most challenging, it's the most dangerous stage in business of these 7 steps I'm going to talk to you about. And the reason for this is, at stage 4, you're making money. You now have actually got something to lose. In the first stage, 1, 2, and 3, you had nothing to lose, so it didn't matter. But stage 4, you now have got something to lose. And most of us tend to hunker down and protect it. And 95% of businesses never get past this stage. You've also heard the expression that 95% of businesses go bust in their first 5 years. I'd like to maybe get the numbers and checked a little bit, because I don't think it is that they go bust. I think it is that the majority of business owners quit because they get tired and they get caught in stage 2. And the thing about stage 3, it's very easy to go back to stage 2, and that's why you start to learn, you taught yourself now to be on a treadmill. You're starting to trade time for money. And in stage 4, you've got a business that owns you. Your focus, you're an income producer. You stop, it stops. Okay? And the challenge really is then, how do you get from this stage 4 to where you're building a business that not only gives you money, but gives you time? Because an interesting thing about money is that money doesn't give you meaning, but what you do with it does. And generally, to do something with money, you tend to need time. So a side step, there's 3 things in life: time, money, and energy. When you're young, you have loads of time, loads of energy, and no money. When you're middle-aged, you have loads of money, loads of energy, and no time. And when you're old, you have loads of time, loads of money, but no energy. You got to figure out how to get the 3 of them together at some stage in your life to have a good time. Okay? So, this stage 4, to get to stage 5, is a shift in your mindset. You've got to change your mindset. Okay. Stage 5 is success. In stage 1 and 2, your focus was sales. In stage 3 and 4, your focus is on production. And in stage 5, your focus has to shift the process. You have got to get the processes out of your head and other people's in your head onto paper so that you can teach it to others. Okay. The other bit that has to shift in your head is you've got to move from seeing things as an expense to an investment. How? At stage 4, you're focusing on making money, and we tend to make short-term decisions that cost us long-term. If any of us have employed somebody, most of us tend to wait until we're past the point of needing them, then we employ them. Or you need the new piece of software, we'll tend to hang on and wait until it's past the point. Okay. But stage 5, success, is where you're starting to get time from your business, as well as the money. Stage 6, significance. The best definition of significance I've ever heard is that it's making a difference in the world about you. And the great thing about, there's 100 people in this room tonight, each of you can live a significant life which is totally different from everybody else. Because the difference you can make in the world about you that you can impact is different from everybody else's. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Okay. So significance, your focus now moves from process to leadership. Okay. Back in stage 4, if you can remember, how many of you have got a limited company? How many of you took the title managing director? Is it any wonder that in stage 4 you end up managing your business? We're now talking about leadership. And do this exercise for yourself when you go home. The difference between management and leadership: managers make decisions. Leaders ask questions. Now, if you look back at your business for the last week, see how many decisions you made. You're managing your business. And see how many questions you asked. That's when you're leading your business. So in stage 6 of significance, you're now starting, there's 2 things you've got to do at stage 6. You bring vision and guidance. Vision is where we're going, and guidance is how we're going to get there. And you're starting to develop leadership in your business. and you have leadership in place. But the interesting thing about significance, it's the second most dangerous place, because for a lot of us, we bail out too soon. We may have leadership in place, but we don't have leadership in charge. And I've seen people leave the business too early, and it's gone completely for them. The other challenge we have sometimes is the business actually is in stage 4, but you, the business owner, is in stage 6. So you got to have an honest conversation with yourself at some stage, but we'll get to that at the end. So this stage 6 of significance, okay, leadership. And then finally, stage 7, succession. Pardon me, where you've actually built a business that's giving you the time and money to live the life that you actually want. And the whole point about this is, it's not about the business, it's about you, the business owner, and the lifestyle that you live. And we've got to ask ourselves some of these questions. Is the lifestyle I'm living, is it what I actually want? Okay. As I said at the start, there's 2 intentions and 1 hope. You get what you intend, not what you hope. If you don't intend to build a business that makes money when you're not there, the chances of you achieving it is fairly slim. As Zig Ziglar said, it's as hard to achieve a goal you've never set as it is to come back from a place where you've never been, unless you're doing the drugs. But we'll leave that out. Okay. So succession. At this stage now, you've got a business that you don't want to sell. Okay. You've got a business that's making money, gives you money and time, and you don't have a day job. So why would you sell it? It gives you the opportunity then to decide, maybe you do want to sell it, maybe you want to get family involved in it, maybe you want to use it to acquire other businesses. It gives you the opportunity then to make a difference in the community. And so my hope for you is, take the time. I'm going to get these notes, this little picture and some notes sent to you. Look at it and be very, very honest with yourself. Where exactly are you in this stage? Okay. Because if you don't know where you are, it's a very difficult place to get to somewhere else. We've got to bottom out. We've got to be very honest with ourselves. This is where I am, but this is where I'm going. And set out with the intention. You get what you intend, not what you hope for. Thank you.